Hello and welcome to my food and fitness class. Today's topic is how to stick with healthy eating each day. So I very much appreciate your attending. My name is Andrea and I'll be guiding you through today's class. So I'm always curious, how did you hear about today's class and where are you calling in from? Please, if you can, just let me know in the comments because it's always cool to see how our community is growing throughout the world. Thank you very much for sharing. So a little bit about me, I'm calling in from Maryland on the East Coast of the US, and I'm a wife and mother of 4. Each day, my family and I, we live with 12 healthy habits in order to enjoy a better quality of life and also to support the success of all that God calls us to do. And because these habits have been so transformative to our lives, I do my best to share guidance on how to both implement and stick with each of these healthy habits so that we can all live truly thriving lives together. So I'll share more about the other videos and workbooks and classes and support groups that I offer throughout the week. But for now, I do want to go ahead and jump right into our class. So our goal today is to learn how to eat healthy without a second thought. So while we're together today, we'll learn how to make provisions to avoid cravings, how to stop emotional eating before it starts, how to be prepared for the grocery store, how to have easy meals at home, and how to enjoy healthy meals outside the home. So first, let's talk about avoiding the cravings. So to avoid the cravings, it's best to stay full. It's hard to fill a cup which is already full. So before you go to the grocery store, it's a really good idea to eat something, lest your eyes be bigger than your belly, and lest your carnal starvation mode kind of kick into gear and make you kind of want to choose all of the high calorie items in the store, which is a real thing. I also encourage you to make it up in your mind to not bring home anything unhealthy. This is your first line of defense, so that your home is a place where you can only eat healthy things, and that can be a really good fail-safe. It's also good to have healthy foods for special days stocked up on and ready. So healthy versions of the foods that you crave for like date night, for football games, just have those healthy versions of foods ready to go. So you have a healthy snack, you don't have to think, oh, well, let's order out. And you can just stick with those healthy snacks instead. So part of stopping that emotional eating before it starts is having that fail-safe, which is no unhealthy groceries at home. But it's best to also get to the root of the issue too. It's common to use foods to soothe our emotions, like binge eating or binge drinking, unhealthy snacks, etc., that you wouldn't have eaten otherwise. Screens and foods and other people might seem like helpful distractions, and we might feel better in the moment, but the conflict still remains. And when we do this regularly, conflicts can pile up, and then we can feel even heavier of a load to carry. And then we risk encountering even more bigger emotional cravings. So instead of trying to use food to distract from our emotional awareness, the better solution would be to address and resolve our emotions. So the antidote to this is to ask yourself, what do you truly crave? It's not likely anything that you're gonna find while binge eating or binge drinking. You'll likely just find that you crave peace and a resolution. If so, then do your best to stop, feel your emotions, and find ways to resolve it. And of course, you can check out my emotions, relationships classes and workbook to help you out with that. So it's good to be prepared before you go to that grocery store. And again, part of that is eating before you go to the store, lest your eyes be bigger than your belly and your carnal starvation mode kicks into gear. It's also good to have a list full of all those yummy, healthy ingredients that you want to have for each meal. It's also important to be willing to go to more than one store to make sure you get all the extra goodies that will make the meal extra delicious. It's also a good idea to save up and buy things in bulk, like grains and seeds, beans, things like that, to make the most of your regular grocery trips and make those easier. And that way, when you go into the grocery on other days, it's just as simple as picking up a few fruits and a few vegetables. And that can also keep you from having to go multiple places each time. When you go to the grocery store, make sure that you have enough time to read all the ingredients in your foods. Or if you like, you can just check them out ahead of time online. Again, you can get those healthy foods for special days in advance, tuck them away in the cabinets. Just make sure that you're not bringing home anything unhealthy, because again, this is your first line of defense. And one more tip, if it's hard for you to go to the grocery store and you feel like once you get in there, you want to purchase everything, it can be really good to, if you're able to do deliveries, do grocery delivery. And that way you can very carefully select your foods on the grocery delivery apps, and you can make sure that before you push that button, there's no garbage on there, there's no bad stuff. Versus walking by it in the store like, I'll just pick this up, then I'll pick up that. So it just makes it easier to do. And also it's really good for financially wise. It helps you to save. It may be, and there may be some fees. There may be some extra fees associated with grocery delivery, but depending on how much you're not picking up when you walk down the aisle, you might actually be saving a good bit in the long run. So to enjoy easy, healthy meals at home, it helps to cook all your grains and legumes in bulk. This would also require investing in some larger storage containers. I suggest glass so that you don't have any of the plastic chemicals leaching into the food over time. And make sure that you buy plenty of ready-to-eat fruits, so that once they're ripe, you can just refrigerate them, and whenever you're ready to eat them, you can just grab a snack and go. It's simple. Another tip is to plan to blend up lots of breakfast smoothies each week, and that means lots of frozen fruit. You can even pre-package them in the freezer so that they are already pre-mixed, and all you have to do is just toss them in the blender. It's also really easy to steam some veggies for lunch and for dinner, and then it's just as simple as cooking a few veggies for lunch and dinner, and that you can pair with those grains. And then you just pick up the whole fruit and you're on your way. As much as is possible, I encourage you to avoid cooking with oils. And this is something that's healthier for us, obviously, but it also makes things much easier to clean. Which means, especially if you're cooking without oil, that it's really just as simple as rinsing out the container for cleanup. All right, so then there's the healthy meals outside of the house. It can be a little bit more of a challenge, but it's not impossible. So you'll want to frequent places with healthy whole plant options. Places like Qdoba, Chipotle, Kava, Mezza, if you have these things in your area. Most Indian food buffets will have some type of vegetarian or vegan options. Chinese food, you just have to be mindful of the oils though there. Veggie-based sushis can be really helpful and really good, as well as some oven-baked pizza shops that, cook things from scratch, that make things from scratch. So you may not always have control over where you're going and where you're dining. So it's always helpful to just order the plant-based sides a la carte so that you can stick with your healthy eating. And in case you're someplace where there's really just no options that you're interested in, then it's always a good idea to have some healthy food bars within your reach, in your purse or in your pocket, or just have them in the car if it's like something you can do in your climate that's going to be able to be shelf stable. And then there's my favorite option, which is a part of my Enjoying Dream Experiences workbook and classes, which is to just get creative and recreate those healthy meals at home. So recreate Kava, recreate your Chipotle, recreate the healthy meals at home in a baked version or with less oil, etc. And another sneaky way of doing it is to get a very small portion of the thing that you like, especially things you can mix together, like a small portion of the Chinese food, then get a bunch of rice and a bunch of extra broccoli and kind of add that in to stretch out some of the, the oils, but also to stretch out the flavor. And then you can enjoy that. You can get the flavor, but without the extra calories as well. And that way you're not eating just a small amount, but you get plenty. It's just plenty without the extra oils. So you may have noticed earlier that I said that my family and I, we live with 12 healthy habits in order to enjoy a better quality of life. So then food and fitness is just one of the 12. We embrace all these habits so that we can have less bad habits to sabotage our efforts to obey God, and more good habits to support our success as we aim to do all that Yahweh has called us to do. So for all these habits, I offer guidance via videos, workbooks, classes, and support groups to help you implement and stick with each habit. So if you'd like more tips on eating healthy, or if you could use guidance with any of these 12 healthy habits, then just know I'm here to guide you. And you can find more details on my website, which is trulythrivinglives.org. All right, so I'd love to know, how did you enjoy today's class, and what questions do you have for me? If you can, just please let me know in the comments below, or if you'd like, you can save your questions for support group or for coaching. Either way, I look forward to supporting you along your journey. Thank you so much for attending, and I hope you have a blessed day.